One. Good morning, everyone. You are listening to Blue Collar Tribe Podcast. I am your host, Splash. We are in the middle of January. We're about to wrap up season 7 of the podcast. Shit, I had no idea that it just seems like it was like 2 weeks ago. I was talking about, hey, I'm coming back. We're in season 7, we're launching, and now we're like episode 11 or 12, whichever one this is going to be. I have a really special guest today. So hold on, put your hard hat on to the side because we're going to really talk some blue collar bullshit. But before I introduce my guest, let me just get to one of our sponsors. If you are in the market for a paint sprayer, reach out to Graco, your rep at your nearest Sherwin-Williams, Lowe's, wherever Graco is sold, and get the battery-powered FlexVolt by DeWalt. It's a great combination, and I'm one of those believers that having a good collaboration can help build a brand, and that DeWalt FlexVolt system, along with the Graco power system of being the best sprayer on the earth, is a great combination. So next time you're looking for a paint sprayer, reach out to Graco and get the battery-powered systems. They have 4 or 5 systems out there, up to and including even a mutter now that's battery-powered. So it's not just for the painters. If you're a mutter, they do have a battery-powered option by Graco and DeWalt. So visit your nearest retailer today. All right, Charles. Man, it has been forever since I've seen your face live.
Yep.
And you have been busy. You've also taken some downtime. This is your second time on the podcast in years.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, can you give us an introduction of who Charles is?
Yo, what's up, my Treps? My name is Charles. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I own and run a clothing brand called The Real Everyday People. Pretty much, yeah. I'm also a local 433 hand, which is a union iron worker out here made of over 5,000 union iron workers. We work from anywhere from San Francisco all the way to San Diego. So yeah, we're big out here.
Awesome. So The Real Everyday People, if you're watching live, I'm wearing one of the hats. It's amazing clothing line. I've been honestly repping it for quite some time since I first met you.
Yeah.
Have a few shirts and some hats. I did lose my sunglasses and my hat on a river trip, so I do need to get some more of those.
Yeah, make sure we get you another one.
But I want to back up real quick, Charles. Now, you've been pushing this line of clothes for what, 4 years now? 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years. Almost 5 years now.
Yeah, you've been out there for a minute. You the last 18 months, if I dare say, I don't want to speak for you, but we've had some private conversations about this.
Yeah.
Like, you and I have kind of taken that road of like, what is really going to work for me and reevaluating what we want to do in the blue collar world.
Yeah. So, man, like I don't know. I took some time off because, work got busy, and also, business, work, and then family. I mean, it's hard enough just to juggle work and family at the same time, working overtime or coming home late, traffic. Then you got to take your kids to, I don't know, soccer practice, karate practice, and then plus, coming home and all that stuff. So it put a really big dampening on my business where I wasn't able to push out the product as fast as I normally would. So I would, instead of tainting the name of the brand, I just pretty much stepped back from it and took a pause. So, and just kind of just focus on my family and myself, and just kind of redirect where I want to go. So,
yeah. Well, amen to you for that, because I think a lot of us in this in the world of whether you're a worker or you're a business owner, and you're both, like you are a worker in the union, and we'll get back to that. And you're starting a clothing line, which is branding something, which is a huge word that we hear. Like, I think branding is that word that's thrown around. In relation, I know you're a sports guy, like into the sports, like people like, oh, this player's the greatest. This player's the greatest. Like, well, slow down. Not everybody's the greatest.
Yeah.
And you are a family man first. That was the one of the very first things that really kind of caught my eye about you, because being blue collar myself and a business owner, you will fall in. And if you haven't, you will just take Charles and my word for it, and then call us back and be like, you two were right. But you will fall into where you live your business. You were living TREP. I remember every day it was a post, every day was something. Like right now, you're back to doing Wednesdays, which today is Wednesday.
Yeah, today is Wednesday.
Today's your Wednesday. I forget, what do you
Yep.
call it again? It's
What to know Wednesday.
What to Know Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I love that you're taking a back seat. We're not going to get into the private stuff about it, but for blue collar workers that are listening to this podcast, it's okay to step away
Yeah,
from their stuff.
definitely.
Because if you don't have your family, you don't really have that support that you need to push through the bullshit that you see as a business owner when you're branding a product or you're branding a business, whether construction or not,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So I commend you for that. It was awesome to see you back on social media. It was kind of like we went down the wrong mountain or went down the side of the mountain separately, and we're back
Yeah.
at the bottom, and you feel more energized. I sense this. I sense a deeper passion in TREP, and
Yeah.
those that aren't watching, we're going to talk about this a lot. But your new logo, your new slogan for this launch, I don't want to call it a relaunch, but for the new launch is no handouts, just work. And
Yeah.
it's so profound. I get the chills just thinking about and hearing that, like, because that can be taken so many ways, which we're going to get back to it. But I want to talk about your iron work because I'm not a union guy. I don't know much about union, but you
Yeah.
said something that like kind of clicked on me. So I want to go back to it. When you say you're a union eye worker, does the I just mean that you're like an iron worker?
Yeah, union iron worker, that's what it is. And we kind of like the iron workers are kind of like we would like to say the cowboys of the sky, or just the elite badass on the job site, pretty much. I'm not gonna discredit from the painters, the drywallers, electricians, but to be honest with you, I would say back in the days, I would say 90%, if it wasn't for the iron workers putting up the structural building, the rest of everyone won't be able to follow through. Because when you build a building, you obviously got your footing and whatever, and then you got to build the building itself out of structural steel. Without having us there on the job site, pretty much the electricians can't come in, the glazers can't come in, the painters can't come in, the drywallers can't come in. So pretty much that's that. Being a union iron worker has a lot of pride to it, specifically tailored to the union. And then also we have our own sense of pride as being an iron worker because we put our life on the line pretty much, and just day in, day out, build something for America pretty much. And it's amazing. But at the same time, just like any business or any like general contractor, it has its bullshits, it has its politics. I mean, if you don't suck this dude's dick right, or you don't kiss ass to this guy, you ain't getting a fucking job. And that's something I've learned early on as an apprentice not to fucking do. I don't give a fuck who the fuck you are. I ain't sucking no one's dick. I ain't kissing your ass. I may be buddy with you, but at the end of the day, let my work ethic prove myself. And now if that's not able to do it, then I'm gonna go find somewhere else or someone else to show that too, that can appreciate it. So it's just it's a great thing. I mean, I didn't have anything else coming. I think I would like to say, to be honest with you, I was like, what, 22, 23 when I got in the union. Prior to that, I was working at a fucking mall, just folding clothes, fucking doing this fucking.
You weren't a Gap guy, were you? You didn't work at the Gap, did
Fuck
you?
that. I was more of an bitch guy. No, I'm just kidding. Fucking. No, I was working at this retail store that actually came from Australia. It's called Cotton On. A lot of you guys may know that. I was actually.
They are.
Yeah, I was an assistant manager there. Actually, okay. So funny story. Okay, this is how I knew I was gonna be an worker. The day of my fucking interview, I was fucking hungover and still drunk as fuck. I was partying because I was like, oh yeah, dude, I got an interview. I'm gonna get this shit. And next thing you know, I show up to the interview in Santa Monica, just fucking like there's a banging headache, pound of beer in the car, went into the interview, actually mouthwashed, then went into the interview. And I was just sitting there, just like fucking bloodshot eyes. And they're like, yeah, so Charles, give us your experience. And I was like, yep, leadership experience, and I can do the job. And
I wish you guys were seeing this on video. I
fucking okay. So the look at my face was just like, imagine you're still fucking drunk, but just you're there. You know what I mean? You're fucking there, and I'm just. And then they're like, all right, cool. And then they went the second round, and I was surprised that I went into the second round. They're like, hey, you got the position. You're gonna be assistant store manager, and I'm like, fucking amazing. Straight after that, called my girl. I said, hey, I got the job. Let's go party again. So that's what ended up happening. And then I think as soon as I heard one of my good friends from high school, Tony Tufan, he was like, yo, I just cleared my first 100 grand. Him and I are the same age. And I was like, how the fuck did you clear $100,000? And at the time, it's a lot of money, and still a lot of money now, but not as much. But it was a lot of money back then. He was like, "Oh, ironwork," and I was like, "So how do I get into that? What do I got to do?" And he goes, "Look it up on YouTube, watch it." And I was like, "Holy shit, that's fucking crazy! I'm fucking down." It took me about a year and a half to get in. I had to talk to a lot of people, do random various things for the union just to show them I'm about the life. And soon enough, I got a phone call saying that, hey, I was able to get a sponsor. That's how sometimes you have to, when you get into the union, just because you sign up doesn't mean you're in. You still have to pay your initiation dues, and then also some registration stuff. But as soon as you have a company that's willing to sponsor you, let's say Splash Co is willing to sponsor Charles Harris, then you send a letter out to the union hall and also the apprenticeship program.
Okay.
And you pretty much say, hey, I'm willing to sponsor this kid for 6 weeks or more. And then, so the minimum is 6 weeks. So you have to at least be working for 6 weeks to, be indentured into the, no. Yeah, you would at least have to be minimum working 6 weeks. And then after that, you'll get indentured into the union. So after that was done, that was a wrap. And this is my career. I've been doing it for fucking almost 11 years now. Yeah. Just last December was 11 years. Yeah. Last month was 11 years.
That what you said is very interesting in the sense of, I'm not going to suck dick. I'm going to show you my work ethic.
Yeah.
It goes to your no handouts. Like, look, I don't want a fucking handout. I want to show up, show my blue collar roots, show what I'm fucking skilled at doing, and I'm going to collect my paycheck. Yeah. If you don't like that, I'm going to go somewhere else because someone else is going to want my skill set.
Exactly.
I don't know if you can answer this question, but I'm going to ask it because you've been in the union for over 10 years now. And I'm just curious what you believe on this or what your thought is on this. Because back in the day growing up, I'm older than you, I'm 43. Back in the day, whether it was white collar, blue collar jobs, it always seemed like the son got the job, the daughter got the job, the son's best friend got the job. In the union, is that something that you saw? And if so, is it out or is it still pretty prominent? Like, oh, well, Johnny just graduated high school. He's going to get this position. Because I will tell you right now, before you even answer that question, if that's you, fuck you. Fuck you. Like, seriously, because it is bullshit. I mean, let me go back to my white collar real quick and you can answer that question. I was applying before I started my business. I was actually in college. I know, weird that I went to college, but I did. And I was going to college to be a hospital administrator. I watched that movie, John Q. I think it was John Q. And he wanted to just help families. His son was sick. He's like, dude, just fucking help me. And when I saw that woman in the boardroom, I can't remember her name. I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be that asshole that says, fuck you guys. We're taking care of this human being because we're humans and we're going to do it. So let's fast forward. I applied for 35 jobs. And I know that number because I remember this conversation. And every job I applied for said I needed to have experience. Well, there's something very ethical about me. I won't lie and say I did this. That's just not me. I'm very like, look, you just let me show you what I can do. I'm going to outpace, out hustle, out TREP everybody. Yeah. And if I can't, that's even better because I want to prove to myself. Nothing against that. After about 20 interviews and just emails declining, not even 20 full interviews, I called one of the companies back that I really wanted to work for. It was up at the University of Utah Hospital. And I'm not trying to put them under the bus, but it was the UVU. A new building opened in like radiology. They needed a hospital admin for their position. And then it was like, listen, you don't have the experience. And I said, and I went off. I'm like, fuck this. I said, I can't get the experience because no one's willing to hire me.
Yeah.
Why do you want someone who has experience? And this is just my personal belief. You want someone who has really bad habits, who has probably left a job that they fucking hated because they weren't doing the job the right way. So they made that job miserable for themselves. But you have someone who's hungry, who wants to come in and learn from you. And I mean, the job paid like maybe $80,000 at the time. I told her, I said, listen, you can pay me $50,000. It's not about the money. It's about showing me that I can have the experience and gain. But when I transferred over to blue collar work, I noticed the same bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And it's not like it's like I said, I keep looking at your shirt and I'm like, this is why I get it now. Like I get why you say no hand. It's like don't fucking hand something to me. Show up, lace your goddamn blue collar boots on, and do the damn work.
Yep.
The money will show up. But anyways, about your 10 years experience, do you still see that it's that good old boy like, oh, I got to get Johnny a job because he's now graduating high school and he's dumb as a fucking rock, but we're gonna bring him in? Or is that
Yeah.
gone away?
Nah, that shit still fucking it's still going. So let me okay, so a lot of people can't well, people are listening. Let me paint two pictures for you. So the first picture to answer your question, yes, it still does fucking happen. This is what happens along the time of my career is I have a set of group of guys that I'm working with, and thanks to the Virial brothers, they pretty much helped me grow up in the trade. So they want you to prove your worth. They don't want you to use their name. So their name is very big in our local. You know, everyone fucking knows them. It goes from Shaggy, Gabriel, Oscar. There's Big Oscar and then Little Oscar, which is the son. Now, since I'm jumping onto those two, Big Oscar, which is Little Oscar's dad, did not want Little Oscar to get in the trade because of the fact that he didn't want his son not to follow in his footsteps, but to fuck his name up, saying, hey, I just got my son into the trade and he ain't worth a shit. So, one thing I admire about Little Oscar about is he actually proved himself. And today he's actually a fucking superintendent, which was my boss on the last job I was working at, you know? So pretty much there's a good and bad. And I've seen superintendent's sons come into a job site that I was working at and is not worth a shit and just throws his dad's name around and says, well, you know, Bill's my dad. So, you know, I don't feel like doing it. And if you don't have a problem with it, then go talk to Bill. Most of us will tell him, go fuck yourself. Once you go to your daddy, also tell him this, go fuck yourself. So pretty much we have that attitude towards men that come into the trade based off their father's sweat, off their nutsack. We don't have no respect for them because of the fact that you have to prove yourself. It's the same way as I don't want to bring it into a racial thing. Is my skin is black, whatever. I'm black and Filipino, but people see me as black. So being in the trade, a lot of us African Americans are welders. And now, currently, the new generation of African Americans coming into the trade is more branched off from just being welders. They're actually, we call connectors. People are connecting the buildings, connectors, tagmans, riggers, which that's what I am. But not to stray away from the question, also, too, is that kids that are pretty much taking over their dad's legacy or their friend's legacy, it's a 50-50, man. Because some of them I've worked with, they're like, oh yeah, this dude so such and such got me in the trade and I don't want to make him look bad. So I do the best I can. I show up every day. I shut the fuck up. I learn as much as I could. And that gets you a long way. Now, there's this one dude, I'll just initial him D. I went to apprenticeship school with him for 4 years. He got kicked out actually on the third year. Actually, never mind. So I only went to him with 3 years. So I went in the third year. He was working at a job site with one of my buddies, and it was just really easy, simple work. Just throwing material out there, just shaking it out, just getting it ready for the next day. He was having a hard time breathing, but everyone else around them was okay. And he was like, what the fuck is going on, D? I can't breathe, man. It's the altitude. The altitude is getting me. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, we're in the desert. Nah, it's way higher than where I'm used to. Come to find out, his daddy is the general foreman. So he didn't feel so well. He goes to his dad's truck and just hangs out there for the rest of the day while everyone else is sweating balls and getting the job done. People like that give other dads that want their son or daughter to fill their footsteps in their legacy a bad fucking name. So all of us, we still see it, man. It's like favoritism that comes down to politics. You know, whose dick is bigger. Hey, man, Johnny needs to get in the trade right now. So you're gonna go ahead and sponsor him. Well, what are you gonna do for me? Well, you wanted that one job, or you wanted this one guy. They'll do that. It's just like politics. It's all politics, bro. It's just it depends what side of the fence you want to stand on. You want to stand in the middle of the war zone, or you want to stand on the winning side, or you want to stand on the losing side, or the gray area, which I kind of hang out at. I like to be behind the scenes and watch everything unfold because it's crazy, bro. It's the same way as you still wanted to work admin in the medical industry, which I have a bunch of friends that still do work in the medical industry, but some of them hang out in the background and they see the people that they thought that was a good person, really a piece of shit person. But it took for them to step back and actually really see it. So, but yeah, sorry, I strayed away from that. But
no, don't. This is fucking interesting to me because, like, so for those that are listening, I want to get back to the race thing because I know it's a topic that we have to be careful, but I want to bring something because this is not the first time.
Fuck that shit. Okay, so I get it.
No.
We have to be very careful because it's 2023. People are fucking sensitive. Here's one fucking thing. I grew up in 1989. My dad grew up in 1937, which was around the fucking time, about 4 years. He grew up 4 years right after the Great Depression. So all the shit started happening. He had to eat in the back of the fucking restaurants just because it's segregation time. It was segregation time. Right? Okay, look, this is the way I see race. I've been called the N-word. I've been called a wind chime. I've been called a coon. I've been called whatever the fuck they can come up with names,
Yeah.
One thing I tell my kids do not look like me. They look Asian. But one thing I really do tell the kids, and I tell the younger generations that coming up right behind me in the trade is your skin is just your skin. It's a color, just like any other color of hard hats you would wear on the job site. Now, what proves to them that's different from you and your color is your hard work ethic and how much you bust ass at work and your personality, of course.
Yeah.
I just hate the fact that we have to tippy toe around this racism thing because of the fact that people get sensitive or they cringe because they're not used to it.
Yeah.
They're not in that. They're not in the shit like you and I are. You know what I mean? They're not really well cultured. Once you start becoming well cultured, you can be able to take everything not with a grain of salt, but just everything with you could just open it up and just be like, oh shit, there it is, and you just be okay with it.
No, you're right, and you're right, and I appreciate correcting me on that. I just So this is where I was going to go with that. In my trade as a painter, there's a lot of Latinos.
Yeah.
Now I am half Mexican. For those that don't know, I'm half Mexican. I did my DNA thing, and like my mom's from Mexico City. I'm half Irish, half Mexican, like almost 50-50 down the line. Get me drunk, I'm a fun time. But
Miklo here. Miklo.
As a business owner, I noticed this. I had some I'll hire anybody. Let me just first say that before I get into this conversation. I will fucking hire anybody that would show up. Now, I'm not a painter anymore. I don't own my paint business. I own my paint business, but I'm not actively working and I'm not going to be. I just keep my license because it's important for me having boys, and that's another topic. But I had, and Latino men, they're great workers. But what they do is they bring everybody they know to the job site. That'll wake up at 6 o'clock in the house and show up and work. Bro. I'm just keeping it real. Like you know that. Okay. So I had this one guy, he was from, oh my gosh, not Ecuador, but near Ecuador. And he was a good worker, but he hated painting. And he told me that like one day, he's like, hey, I fucking hate painting. And I'm like, then why do you do it? And I quote you what he said, all my Mexican friends do it, so I have to do it. And I'm like, no, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to be a roofer. I like being on roofs. So I called up my roofing buddy. I'm like, hey, I got this guy. He's not working for me. And immediately, like again, Caucasian owner, why? And it's Utah, so it's a little bit different, but we still deal with the bullshit. And I'm like, listen, he's a great worker, but he doesn't want to paint. Why do you think he wants to fucking? I'm like, listen, he told me he wants to be a roofer. Put him in the fucking trade with you. If he doesn't work, I'll pay a salary for 30 days.
Yeah.
But, that night, I think it was a few nights later, I took my friend out. I'm like, got him some beers. I'm like, listen, bro, you got to bring him on. Like he wants to. What I'm getting to circle back to the beginning of the conversation is that I don't care what fucking color your skin is.
Yeah.
But you said it too. Like, there's a lot of African Americans. They go to this niche. Like, whatever you want to do, fucking do it. Like,
Yeah.
my son had some school papers out, and I was reading it, and it was funny. There was some things about like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Oh, I want to be like my dad. I want to stay home and do podcasts and stuff, which is like, oh, cool, you know. And then at the very end, on the other side, it's like, what do you really want to do for work? He's like, I want to be a welder. Well, I, Splash, can't fucking weld. I've never welded. I don't. I know the term beating a line, and you welders are probably going to beat me up. Like, I want to bring a welder on, but like, I don't know shit about it.
Yeah.
So we were ice fishing yesterday. I took my boys because I believe in like mental health days. But that's what I call them here in my house. But there's like, my kids woke up. I said, hey guys, you're not going to school. We're going fishing. Like, what? I'm like, let's go ice fishing. They missed school. We went ice fishing, had a great day. And while we're driving up to the canyon, my boys are like, hey dad, you're not painting anymore. I said, yeah. I said, but I kept all my paint equipment. Why? What's up? Because they're 16 and 14. And they're like, next summer, we want to work for you, meaning this 2023 summer. I said, listen,
Sick.
I will show you how to do the work, but then I'm going to leave you to do the job. And they both looked at me like I was fucking nuts, Charles. And I'm like, what? And my youngest is like, no, and he's so funny. And I love his business mind. He's like, no, dad, I'll pay you. You show me how to do the bids and I'll pay you to do the work.
Dude, it's like a mini me.
I said, what? He's like, that's what you do. He says, but I know you don't want to run the business, but can we be Splash Painting still?
Yeah.
And it goes back to like treading on a name, your dad. And I know like it is different, but it's the same when your dad and your kids are like, hey, I built a good reputation. When I shut my Google business page down, we were #1 in Utah. So I was clearly doing something fucking right. And I was getting 30 to 40 phone calls a day that I couldn't manage, nor did I want to manage.
Yeah.
But now my boys, so can we work with you? And they're starting. I'm like, listen, I kept all the equipment. I will show you, but I'm not going to be the painter.
Yeah.
You want to bring your friends on? And like, obviously we had a longer conversation as long as they wanted to have it. I said, listen, I'll show you. I'll have the insurance. I'll cover the shit that you need, but you're going to see every fucking dotted line along the way. If your friend fucks up, you have to fire him. It's not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see what April, get back to me in April, because I'll be really curious, because one of my boys is 16. He has a car. He wants to get a sports car and dub it up. My 14-year-old, he wants to buy a car when he's 16. And he's like, hey, I want this car. He wants a Tesla. And I said, listen, you can have whatever you want, but you got to put the fucking work in.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be, here you go, I love you, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that, but I'm also that kid that grew up on the streets in 30 different foster homes. It's like, oh, I'm a dad now. Let me give my kids everything I didn't. Yeah. But as a blue collar worker, I'm like, no, you got to fucking work for it. You know
what? That's a thing too, man. It's like, that's the thing that I've been battling with. Okay, so I grew up, like my dad, he owned his own shoe shine stand once he got out of the service, right? He linked up with this dude named Otis, which was an old school badass fucking Ethiopian dude. Showed my dad how to shoe shine and then took over the business. My dad was in like the Downtown Daily News fucking running for, I think, 10 years of having the oldest business in downtown Los Angeles. And also the original business in downtown Los Angeles was just, it was called Pappy's Shoe Shining. Now, shoe shining shoes ain't gonna be it's not gonna make you a millionaire, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, my mom was at the time LVN, licensed vocational nurse. So money was pretty tight. And as soon as I got into the trade, I felt like once I have kids, I should give them everything I never got. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I had to save up money. I would go work with my uncle doing it's delivery boxes to like different countries, states, or whatever. We pick them up and drop them off. So I would have to save money if I had to go get anything I wanted. What you said was like, just because you're a foster kid, grow up in the system or Section 8, and you don't have all that, you want to give all that to your kids.
You do. You do 100%.
Yeah, you really fucking want to, But at the same time, too, I remembered what made me me was because I had to get up a little earlier than all my other friends just to go make the extra money prior to meeting them up at the mall or even at our local skate spot. I wanted to make sure every single day I had like about $20 in my pocket, but I had to get up early to go do it. You know what I mean? And then I don't know, man. Like sometimes I just like my daughter, right? I have a 7-year-old daughter. She means the fucking world to me. And when she tells me, Daddy, I really want this, I'm just like, I look at her, I'm like, fuck, dude, like I could go do it right now. But I was like, you know what? No. How about this? You go ahead and finish your homework, and then you come in the backyard with me, clean up the dog poop, help me rearrange the garage real quick, and help me do a couple orders. Kind of work for it so you can get the sense of how it feels when you work towards something, the reward.
Yeah, satisfaction.
Yeah. So she's doing that now. She gets the basis of it. My son, on the other hand, is very babied by my wife. So he's just kind of like, no, Dad, I don't feel like. I'm like, you know what, man? I swear to God, I just want to wring your neck right now, But he's learning responsibility in a different way that I have to show him because my wife just fucking babies that dude. I don't understand how it works. But no, it comes back to like, I believe we should work for everything. We got to show our kids how to work for everything because once we're long dead and gone, to be honest with you, they're worth nothing if we didn't leave them with at least one piece of advice of just go figure it out and try it every single way possible to go get it. Because if you don't do that process, then everyone will run you over or you will be someone else's doormat. And that's something I teach my kids over and over every single day. Doesn't matter if I sound like a broken record. When I'm dead, I know my kids are going to be good. Not financially. Maybe they are financially, but just philosophical and like the mental capacity of what they need. They got it. They have the tools. They will have the tools.
And that's so important. I mean, it's like I said, my oldest is 16 and he's in this weird space right now.
Yeah,
first girlfriend, first job. So we have 2 vacation homes and he's lived, he's stayed at both of them. So about a month for Christmas, Grandpa was home and he's like, and just nonchalantly, we're ice fishing on Christmas Eve. And he's like, hey, Grandpa, is the Mexico house done? And, we're like, no, we got to put the floors in and run the solar system paneling. And, we're making it fully. So it's a house. Like you can live there and all the things. And he's like, okay, my son says right to his grandfather, he's like, hey, when the house is done, I'm going to go live there when I'm 18. And I look at him, I'm like, no, you ain't. His grandpa looks like, he's like, I'm going to live there. And when I die, your dad's going to be there. And my son looks at me, he's like, Dad, I said, we also have our other house. He's like, well, I'll live at one of them. I said, no, you can go stay there for a while. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Yeah. If you live anywhere, you're going to pay the bills that go along with that.
Yeah.
Because they're bills that go. Secondly, when I show up, is my house.
Yeah.
Now, TMI for you listeners, if you don't want to hear this, go fast forward 12 seconds. I walk around my house butt ass fucking naked all the time when my kids ain't home. On my property in Mexico, when I live in Washington, anywhere I live, that I'm purist. Like that's just fucking who Splash is. Give me a joint. I'm happy. I'm gonna put my feet in the sand. And my son, he's like, you're gonna wear clothes though, right? I said, no, my house, my skin.
Yeah.
I didn't see your skin here. And he's like, fuck. I said, I know you thought you'd take your computer and live there and do that. I said, listen, man, I'm not telling, and like, I'm a different parent. I tell my kids straight, like, you don't have to work. You have to function and make enough money for what you want your life to look like.
Yeah.
And so I feel like my son's very blessed in this. He has a mother who's white collar as you can be.
Yeah.
And a dad who's blue collar as fuck. And now I'm making money on social media. So he sees this realm of like, okay, money can come in every different way.
Yes.
And that's just the way it is, but I want to pick this up. I got to get a sponsor in real quick. So we'll be back in 45 seconds.
Attention Tribers. Plant Powered Marketing is your cutting-edge marketing agency specializing in SEO, Google My Business, website development, and many other strategies that get you ranked #1 on Google. We're your go-to marketing agency for businesses who want to see real, tangible results from their online presence. Our team of experts has years of experience in getting businesses to the top of Google and generating leads through effective online marketing campaigns. Remember to let us build your next website. Contact us if you want to outrank the competition. Plant Powered Marketing, 971-570-0511 or plantpoweredmarketing@gmail.com.
All right, we are back. Thank you for that, Spencer. He's an amazing marketer for your business in the blue collar world, and he focuses 100% on blue collar workers like you that'll listen to the show. That's why he's one of my sponsors. So you back up real quick. We got so much to still talk about, Charles.
Yep.
You talked about apprentice work, and I'm curious now. Again, I don't mean like I know I'm going to get laughed at, and I love that people laugh at me, so I'm okay with it because I'll ask the question that I do want to know, but I know there's other people that want to know. In the apprentice world, now I've never been an apprentice. Now I actually get shit on by other painters. They're like, bro, you never did apprentice. I'm like, no, I just stuck and fucking started my own business. Like, it's a different mentality. My hustle's not yours. I'm up at 4. It's that Kobe Bryant. I'm a huge basketball and football fan, but it's that Kobe Bryant effect. You're going to go do 2 practices a day. I'm going to get 4 practices in to your 2 and still play a game. Like that is truly the hustle of Splash. So I don't know shit about apprentice work. But my question is this.
Okay.
Are you paid?
Apprentice?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is fucking amazing. Check this shit out, dude.
Because in the white collar world, you're not always paid. A lot of white collar jobs, you don't get paid to apprentice people.
Fuck this. Look, check this shit out. So my cousin, which is on my Filipino side, my Filipino side is very academic. They like to go to school, college, fucking masters, all that bullshit. So when I found out I was going to be an apprentice for 4 years, I was like, damn, it's like going to college. It truly is like going to a college. So it's a trade school, and you actually get a fucking diploma. I wish I had my fucking diploma. I have a diploma. I have an associate's in trade science. That's what it is. So throughout these 4 years of apprenticeship, I'm actually getting paid. You know, so they at the time when I got in, I was getting paid $16.50 an hour, which is way more than I was getting paid at any fucking job. Plus benefits, plus retirement, dude. Come on. So I was like, shit, this is crazy. So for 4 years, and then every 3 months, you take 1 week off of work, and you go to school to learn pretty much each stage of ironworking. So we had introduction. We had 9 weeks. I think it was 8 weeks of Saturdays. So Saturday school, we have to go for 8 weeks, which is just introduction to ironworking. And then first period, second period, all the way up to 8th period. So we have 8 periods. So first period was, I think it was still introduction plus history, and then so forth. And then also what I love about the union and about this program as an apprenticeship in the ironworking is I was able to get LA City certified in welding. So what that just did was from my little punk ass $24. Now, this is a little secret that it's not a secret, but it's talked amongst in the trade as welders and even just regular hands is towards layoff. Let's say you're working a miscellaneous job or a structural job and you're normally not welding and you're always just doing, different tasks here and there, but towards layoff, right? They're going to start laying off motherfuckers. Here, thank you for your work. Here's 2 checks. Thank you for your work. Here's 2 checks. As soon as they come around to you and hand your 2 checks, be like, hey, but I see that you still have more welding to go do. And then obviously the general foreman is going to be like, yeah, but you're not a welder. But you bring out your LA City card, be like, look, I'm an LA City welder. This is what the inspector wants and looks for. So what's up? And they're like, oh shit, let's go ahead and throw that 2 checks away. Go ahead and go to that point and weld that. So you're just pretty much being more beneficial to the company, and at the same time you're able to provide more for your family on one job site. Because just like us, like your job, every job, it comes and it goes. So it's the same thing with us. Like here's one project onto the next project, and it just sucks sometimes that certain projects get cut short because you're limited to your abilities or your skills. So pretty much what I suggest to everyone out there that's listening, that's an apprentice or just been around for a while, upgrade your skills. Like get more skills under your belt. It's just like buying new tools, buying a new grinder, buying a new spray painter. It makes life that much easier. So I stick around that much longer knowing that I have something in my back pocket, which is my welding certification and also my rigger's card. A lot of people I didn't know when I'm working in the field, they're not certified riggers. And that's a big OSHA violation. Once you start rigging stuff up and shit goes sideways, they're going to ask who was a certified rigger. And if no one raises their hand, the whole company's fucked.
What is a rigger? For those
A
of
rigger.
those like myself that don't know what the fuck.
Oh, okay. So
I think I know what it is,
yeah,
but I
okay.
don't
So
know.
a rigger, which is pretty much okay. So it's a person that works with cranes a lot. Doesn't matter if it's a mobile crane, a
So you're
tower
not a
crane.
crane operator.
No, I'm not a crane operator. I work very closely with crane operators. They trust, I don't want to say trust, but they have no choice but to listen to us as a phoneman and a signal. Okay. Correct term is a signalman / rigger. A signalman is pretty much telling the crane operator, hey, we're going to be picking up this bundle of fucking steel here at your 12 o'clock, and we're going to fly it over here to your 1 o'clock. Cool. Now, you just told the operator where to go, what you're picking up, and then the rigger is the one who pretty much, I don't want to say tie. Okay, I'll say tie up the beams and the iron, like pretty much rig it up, like pretty much choke it with chokers, like steel braided chokers, slings, which is like nylon straps and stuff like that, and then pretty much make sure it's safe and stable, and then hook it up to the crane, and the crane will fly it over to where you just told them to go. So that's what I mainly do, and that's what I love to do is signal the crane and rig stuff. So that's where like my certain expertise is. And I was very happy when I became a certified rigger, because that means that I get to play with the big toys, which is the tower cranes. So that's
so you have 3 certifications right now as a union iron worker.
Yes.
Nice. Is the union now? I don't know if you know this. Is the union the same in like Philadelphia, New York that you have? I know unions are different. Like
Yeah.
from my understanding, again, I do not mean any ignorance on this. I just don't know. Like it was just it's one of those things I never cared about. The closest thing to union I came was I took the battery test to be a mailman because I thought it was badass. I did it in the wintertime for Christmas casually. It was fucking, I love that fucking job. It was actually really badass carrying mail and meeting tons of dogs and you know.
Man, I can see you being a mailman, bro. Just walking around like, hey yo, what's up?
I would, that was me. But like, so you're in what part of California? You're in LA?
LA, yeah.
So you have LA. San Diego is a different county. Am I correct? So would they have their own union?
Yeah, okay. So like we have Nevada, which is still local 433.
Okay.
In Los Angeles, and then the San Diego is a different union number.
What's the numbers for? What's the 433 for?
Shit, man, I wish I would fucking really remember this. See, this has been so long.
Is it like, I correlate it to like, and I don't mean like gangs in like the sense of like bang, bang, shoot, shoot. I mean like biker gangs. They have like biker gangs will have like a number associated with them, or firemen have. I know what the fireman truck is. Like fire truck is 2795. That's like that brotherhood of firemen in that area that they're. I would imagine that is that way as well.
Because I think 433 is fuck. I forgot. I think it's like I don't know. I don't want to butcher it. I want to say a jurisdiction like area of like
kind of like an area code for, because what part of Nevada you guys in, like in Reno, Winnemucca area?
Nah, like in the deep, like right there in Las Vegas. Like
okay. So you're closer to Vegas and like Henderson.
Okay. Yeah, Henderson and like in that area. So 433, like, so I know that we were under like a different local at one time, which was mix of rod busters. If you guys don't know what rod busters are, they are the
You're dropping some fucking knowledge on me. I don't know any of this shit.
Okay, so a rod buster is like, I would say, we always clown them. Those are our sister brothers. Okay, so pretty much
like sister wives,
like sister wives, like sister brothers. No, I'm not gonna shit on them. They're really badass dudes. A lot of 433 guys say fuck rod busters because they're fucking knuckle draggers, and they say the same shit about us. But I worked with a lot of them, and I made a lot of good friends with rod busters. But they are the guys that tie in all the steel rebar prior to being poured with concrete.
Okay.
So give you a couple.
That's a fucking tough ass job. Your fingers have to hurt after that shit.
Fuck yeah, dude. And I give them all much respect. They don't know how to rig for shit. I mean, a couple of them do, but other than that, I mean, they bust ass, bro. I'm talking about number 8 bars, 12 bars. These motherfuckers are carrying like big ass fucking long rebars, and running across the fucking deck. And I'm just like, God damn, these motherfuckers are crazy. But I give them props to them because they are our brothers. We go into the same apprenticeship, but we're just two different locals. We're at 433, which is structural steel, and then 416, which is reinforcement steel, which is rebar. So pretty much, yeah, I know we were in one local one time. So the 416 rebar and also the structural steel ironworkers, we're all together under one local. And then I forgot what year we split up and we ended up, the reason why we split is politics. So anyway, I'm not gonna bore you with that shit. So we split up and we said, hey, we're 433, you're 416. You guys have two separate union halls and we'll call it a day. So that's where we're at. But we go to school in the same facility.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. It's all right. The servicemen, like the Navy and the Army, split up and made the Air Force or some shit like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
My wife's a vet of the Air Force. I don't remember that. She told me the story. I'm like, so you're all really basically the same fucking thing? She's like, no, we split up. I'm like, okay, don't take it personal.
Yeah, it's just we do the same shit. It's just they're on like they're I don't want to say they're on the ground. I would say they're more they're just more like, intricate, I guess, in a sense, because they have to make like when they have it's called pour in place. Pretty much it's a new age. It's like concrete. Like instead of doing more structural buildings nowadays, they felt that it's general contractors feel that it's more cheaper and cost effective and productivity wise is better to do a pour in place, which is pouring concrete in place, or like a pour in place jobs. So pretty much it's like building a parking structure. They ask the rebar guys to come in and build their little cages and out of structural rebar, and then they pour it. They all that stuff. So pretty much that's what they're.
So some white collar person said, "Hey, we need to save money. We're spending too much. Let's figure it out."
we fight with these motherfuckers all day, every day. I think on the last job, I've never seen us be so close to the office than ever in my career, because I'm always hearing, hey, you guys are going over the hours. Hey, we need to fucking cut some guys off, or hey, we need to hurry up on this project, or we're not going to make our cut. Or I'm like, God damn, like what the fuck is going on here? Normally it's like we don't hear none of that shit. We just do our job in the best way we can and fucking turn over the project, Well,
times are tight, money is tight. I actually talked to a painter today.
Mm-hmm.
He emailed me on Instagram and he's like, hey, business is slow. What do you suggest? Everyone's asking lower dollar amounts on the job sites. I said, money's money, bro. Here's the best way to do it. Go in, if you have a crew, I know he has a crew, go in and do the work. Tell your crews it's going to be the expectation is 3 days when you would think it would take 6. I said, it gives you an opportunity to implement new things. And he's like, dude, shut up. You don't sound like you know what to do. I'm like, listen, money is money. If you're telling me that you're not getting jobs because the money's too low, in my world, you're being fucking lazy. Now, I know the government gave out a lot of free checks, back to handout. Like, I know that there's a lot of fools out there that collect. And if this is you, fuck you. If you're out there sitting there collecting this government money and then working for a blue collar worker saying, look, I'll paint for you, but you're going to pay me under the table. And if you're a listener and you're one of my old employees, you know who I'm talking about. Fuck you. But that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, go. And I said, listen, all you're doing is implementing a system. I said, as a business owner, you want to grow. He's like, yeah. I said, okay. So if this job should take you typically 6 days, but your only budget is for 3 to get everyone paid and your business still make money, tell your guys 3 days. Figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
Or back to the famous saying, fuck up, find out. Like at the end of the day, money is money.
Yeah.
I've argued with people about this so many times. Well, I normally charge $300 a door, but I can only get them for $120. Well, then go make the fucking $120. Stop making TikTok videos. Stop fucking going to lunch when you hear the goddamn taco truck or whatever the hell, the ice cream truck comes around, and just fucking work. I don't understand the blue collar mentality right now of just give me something and I'm gonna do what I want to do instead of do what the right thing to do is. I walked around. So I've been trying to be healthier this year and take care of my health. I'm 43 and I'll be honest, for the first time in my life, and it's really hard to publicly admit this, like it really is. So I'll admit it. I'm feeling my age. Like mentally, I don't feel like I'm 43. But there's days I wake up and I'm like I went ice fishing yesterday, as I said, and I get home and I get out of my recliner that my wife bought me. And she's like, why are you walking so weird? You sat on fucking ice all day. I said, babe, I'm 43. I'm fucking feeling it. I want a whiskey and a cigar at night. And my grind is still there. But like I'm walking around my neighborhood, and in my neighborhood, we have probably 60,000 homes being built a year.
Damn.
Fucking
In your
massive.
neighborhood?
In my neighborhood. We live in this weird neighborhood that like has part of San Francisco, part of Delaware, part of like just like 6 different really cool communities
Holy
that they're
shit.
doing. Like they just announced yesterday that the minor league baseball field is moving from downtown Salt Lake into our neighborhood. Like that's how big our neighborhood is. We have our own fire station, our own like 2 gas stations. Like we're our own city within a city.
Damn, homie.
But I hear painters here just in Salt Lake in South Jordan. That's where I'm at. And I hear painters like, there's no work. I'm like, fuck you. And one of the predominant painters who I know he listens to the podcast, I won't throw him under the bus. And I've reached out to him to kind of help him out. And he's just kind of like, he's very arrogant, which I get, but he laid off 10 guys. Well, those 10 guys called me asking for work. I'm like, dude, I'm not working.
Yeah.
Well, I turned 10 of those guys. I said, hey, who are your best friends on the crew? Who do you trust? Because I know one of the guys very personally. He's like, I know these 4 guys. I'm like, listen, here's what you do. I gave him 3 paint jobs. I said, go get your license. I'll give you 3 paint jobs. I want 10% of the job,
Yeah.
but I'm not touching the fucking job. After 3 paint jobs, it's on you to go get your license and the insurance. I have them call my insurance money. The dude's out there balling right now. He said last year he made $180,000 with him and 3 guys. And he, he's like, hey, dude, thank you. I didn't really understand that. I said, money's fucking money.
Yeah.
Just show up, lace your fucking boots, and do the job.
That's it. That's it.
That's
it.
So we're going to get into TREP. That's one of the reasons I want to talk to you. But you've been in the industry for 10 years.
Yeah.
What is one of the most fucked up things that's ever happened on a job site?
Oh, God damn, man.
I know you got stories for days. Blake, is there something that you think about, like you just scratch your head about, whether you were involved or you just saw it happen, that you're like, I can't fucking believe that this shit happened? Because, like, you guys are up in the air 30, 40, 50 feet. You're walking on small fucking iron or steel. Like,
yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. Like, okay, so when I was an apprentice, I think I was like, I want to say 6th period or 5th period. I was working at supposedly the tallest building in Los Angeles, which is the 73 Wilshire Grand building. And this is a famous story amongst all the trades, blue collar folks here in Los Angeles. What happened was, God rest his soul, an electrician, I'm not going to say what union or what company, an electrician was going through some tough times, mental issues, couldn't really deal with it, through a divorce and losing his kids to his wife or whatever. He jumps off the fucking building.
damn.
I remind you, this is like at 50-something floors. We have a safety cable. We have a pretty much three sets of barricades to prevent you from falling and prevent material from falling from the building. He cleared all 3 of those. At that point, all of us thought, like, this motherfucker wanted to die, and he got it. He yelled all the way down. I was offloading material with the last company I was with. And because it's kind of a hill, so I was kind of like mid to lower part of that hill, and I was there backing out a forklift from the driveway from our loading dock, and all we hear is boom, and it was kind of like a bounce, so it was like 2 bounces, and it looked like he landed on top of a car, but in reality he didn't. And we looked over and we're like, holy shit. And all the guys at the bottom of the hill were like, we have a jumper. Oh shit, watch out. And it was just fucking just confusion and chaos. It was gory, bro. That shit was fucking wild, man. I can still see that shit. That shit was fucking, that shit was crazy.
Do your union workers in those circumstances, do they have people come in and talk to you guys?
Oh yeah.
Like have the resources?
Yeah, they do. They had counseling, they had all sorts of stuff, for us to talk to. And some of the guys, obviously, they're like, oh yeah, I'm a man, I don't really need to talk about this shit, this shit was crazy, and move on, you know. But some of them, they felt deep inside that they were going down that path as well, because you know they don't know how life home situations are, you know. We just work with them, and then when they go home, we don't know what kind of demons they're fighting, you know. So just like that guy, but the demons got the best of him, and he showed it to the world, and fucking he decided to kill himself, you know.
That is a gory story, and I'm glad you shared it with me for this, for many reasons, for our listeners to listen to. I have said from day one, and when I came back and did the podcast, and I announced I was coming back, the year that I took off, I had mental health. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it till I could admit it to myself. When I dedicated that I was going to come back and bring Blue Collar Tribe podcast back and build this social media group that I'm building to teach like-minded men and women to be business owners, I'm here to tell you right now, listen to me very carefully. I don't get serious that often. Usually I'm fucking laughing and having a good time. But this is one time the splash is going to be serious with you. If you're having a hard time, divorce, money, whatever, we Blue Collar Tribers, the TREP family, all of us are combined. We are family. I don't give a fuck what trade you're in. I don't care if you're green or you've been doing it for 30 years. We are your familia. As my best friend says to me all the time, you're my familia. You walk in my fucking house, you pop open a beer, you light a joint, and you sit there and you fucking tell me what's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm to my core right now with this. Like, and I want to be in tears because I know the frustrations that men, and again, women deal with the same shit, but men have this fucking hardcore bullshit mentality that we were raised with. Let's not lie about it. Like, it was a raised thing from parents to society to grandparents, all that bullshit. Like, we have to be tough as core. Listen, the shit hits us. I've been divorced. I've been in that fucking courthouse looking at a person who for years I loved and adored, telling me that I'm a bad father because I didn't want to be married to you anymore. No offense, this is the fucking truth of it. And there's nothing that we feel we can do, no matter what attorney we have, no matter the bullshit we're going through. I'm telling you right now, men and women that are blue card, listen to this, or if you know someone, give them this episode right here. Call me, DM me. I will listen to you.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but I'll fucking tell you what, I'll be a listener. I'm going to give you my 2 cents once you're done. And if you don't need the 2 cents, that's okay. Just get it off your fucking chest. But, you know, I'm very spiritual in the sense of like meditation and shit like that. I'll tell you right now, meditating can be the best way. If other medications are not there for you, there's natural herbs, and that's a private conversation you can have with me. I actually, and this is true. I actually have a sponsor that sponsors social media, not the podcast, that I've been doing. I'm on there. Wasn't even going to talk about this because I haven't finished the regimen, but I've been doing gummy mushrooms. You know, they're permitted to do. You can buy them through the mail. They've really helped change my mood. They've really helped change my personality. Not my personality. They've really helped change my mood, which then has allowed me to see my personality when I feel like I'm stuck in a fucking rut. I have a 20% discount code. DM me. I'll give it to you. I'll be doing some posts on it. But I wanted to finish the 30-day cycle to really tell you what I'm feeling. But it's been like 12 days, and I feel great. I feel more like myself. And I tell you, men and women that listen to this, you know, I don't mean to be this deep, but it happens, and I think it's beautiful. You're not alone. You're fucking not alone.
Yeah.
You know what? And screw the bullshit. Like, well, you don't want to hear the bullshit. Like, listen, dude, I got my own bullshit. You know, when I go to the gas station, like I'm that dude. Like the gas station people know who Splash is. Like they do. Like I've been in the same neighborhood. I walk in and the manager, not the owner, he always says, I'm living the dream. So one day I pulled him off the side. I'm like, bro, are you really living the dream or is this just your job? He's like, no, dude. I'm like, what's your dream? He just tells me. I said, listen, go do your dream then. Stop fucking telling me you're living your dream. And he looks at me, he's dead straight. He's like, and again, this like 3 years ago when I was at the prime of being like fucking 3 houses a week we were doing. And he's like, are you living your dream? I said, you're goddamn fucking right I am. You're right I am. And like, I hate that saying. I absolutely hate that saying when I ask me like, how's it going? But just live my fucking dream. It's like that little Wayne verse. Don't ask me what's wrong. Ask me what's right.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many positive things in this world. So if you're a Debbie Downer, that's okay. But come to me because I'm going to help you figure out what's positive and going. You got a car? Great. Does that car drive? Fucking awesome. Pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
You made a car payment, you know? But I appreciate you saying that story. It is very, it happens. I think I've heard a similar story or that story. Like,
Yeah.
it's real, man. And blue collar men and women, you ain't alone. You ain't alone. Much
You
love
know,
to you.
you know what? I don't know if it's like that for any other state or out there, but I know here, at least in California, like the guys that I worked with, like the old timers, they're like hardcore rock and roll, cocaine, drugs, fucking sex, all of it. You know it. I've been with the most horniest of the horniest to the badass to the fucking killers of the killers. And one thing I've learned, because like I said before, I like to be in the background. Like I'm not on some pervert shit, but just I'm more of an observer. I like to see the whole picture prior to going into it. So the thing that I've seen the most, and they're all common, is they all have one single demon that they fight with, which is pretty much their sense of self. Who the fuck am I? And what the fuck am I doing? Because every single time, I'm not going to say drinking is bad. Drinking is good socially. Drinking by yourself, it's okay. You know, we see it always on the TV, or we see our dad did it or uncle do it, you know. But the thing is that I've noticed is they pretty much put a makeup on, like a cover over their face, and say, I'm good. But in reality, they're not, bro. They're fucking dying inside. They're fucking just like time and time over again, just, you know, not really getting to know themselves because they're always fucking sedated on fucking drugs or fucking occupied with the strip clubs or fucking just look, man, whoever is going through a tough time, to be honest with you, the only way is to go head on with it. And when I say head on, I'm not saying fucking go all the way in and just fucking keep going. No, like head on, meaning that, hey, I have a fucking problem, and it may not be alcohol or fucking drugs. It just may be a serious mental breakdown, and you need to take a note of where and why it started. It may be too much work. It may be too much worry about, am I going to make rent, my car payment? I went way over my credit card bills. These are all fucking life situations that we all gone through. I've been through them. I know that you have been
I've been through them.
So the thing is, this is nothing new, guys. Okay, let me put something like this. A lot of us have grandparents and family members that have been through the Great Depression. You know how fucked up the Great Depression is? Since 1933 till fucking I want to say right around when they created the Social Security. Times were fucked up, dude. Like it was like war, depression, suicide, what is it? The recession, and again, and all sorts of other shit happened. But if your grandparents can make it through that time, and we're in a better time now, there's plenty of resources. There's plenty of people out there that's willing to listen to you. Don't be fucking prideful. Your pride will get the best of you, and you will not know who the fuck you are no more. So my biggest advice is don't be too prideful to ask for help. And like I said, just fucking go head on.
Reach out to somebody.
Talk to anybody.
It's okay. It's fucking okay. Break down.
Yeah.
Break down. Let it fucking out. And you want to know why? Because the minute you let it out, you're going to feel 3,000 pounds lighter. You know, like my spirit animal's a gorilla. That gorilla is going to be off your fucking chest, and that gorilla can walk with you.
Yeah.
You know, right now, that you're fucking carrying the gorilla and every other fucking thing in the world. We've all had credit card debt. We've all had car payments. I've had a fucking car repossessed from me. I actually, true story, I ain't got no work truck right now. If my fucking truck died, I put it on social media. I'm okay with it. Like, you know, like, oh my God, if my wife listens to this podcast, she'll hit me for this, but it's okay. Literally, like right before, so we had a flood in our house. I showed a video of it. We got it fixed today. The foundation part's fixed. And my wife, like literally in the middle of them fixing it, she's like, this is why I don't want to stay in a house longer than 10 years. Shit starts falling apart. I look at her, I'm like, so the next house we buy, she's like, we'll move after 10 years. I'm like, babe, we'll be like 50. I'm not going to continue to fucking move every 10 years because you're worried about something breaking down. I don't get a new body when I'm 50. I get a new body from working out and making it better, you know. But what you're saying is like, it's okay, break down. You
It's
buy
all
a car. I don't know who said this to me, and it was like a fucking Dave Ramsey bullshit or something.
Yeah.
He said, why do you get mad? That I think I actually was not Howard Stern, but somebody. The caller's like, dude, I'm pissed. Like my car broke down. And the guy's like, why are you getting mad? He said, because I got to buy new tires or my transmission. Is like, you bought the car knowing it was going to break down. So why are you mad about that? You being mad can't change the situation. I always bring that back to blue collar work because like shit happens on a job site.
Yeah.
Just fix it. I tell my guys all the time, with the exclusion of maybe spilling 5 gallons of paint on brand new carpet, but if you have insurance, you're fine. But it goes back to like the mental health. You're going to break down. I did it. You've done it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's all right.
It's all right.
Okay.
Because you come back stronger.
Yeah.
You come back understanding the why. Like, it's funny, like you say, like they don't understand why, but like when you break down and that mental wall that you break down, all those questions you had for 10, 5, 1 year to 20 years get answered.
Yeah, right
Why
away.
do I drink Why do I drink alone? Once you break down, it's like, oh shit, that fucking makes sense now.
Yeah.
But we're built from society. I'm blaming you all. Like, don't do that. Don't say it's like, fuck no. It's okay. Cry a little bit. It's like shit happens. It's okay.
It's all right, man.
But that leads me to TREP, the real everyday people. Be that person. Where did you come up with the name, Charles? I know I've asked you priorly, but I don't know if everyone's listened to the old podcast. Like, what was the moment you realized, like, fuck, I have more to give? Because, like, you're a giver. You don't give handouts. Let's fucking get this straight.
Yeah.
Charles, don't do handouts. You're going to work for your shit.
Yeah.
But TREP, you have so much more to give the blue collar world because, and like, I know you kind of shy away, like, well, I just sat back and I look. You're a surveyor, bro. Yeah. That's awesome that you're surveying the situation. Because a lot of people like me, if I worked on a job site with you, you know I'm the loudmouth.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck you doing over there? Like, I don't need a megaphone. Jimmy Hart needed a megaphone. If I was Hulk Hogan's manager, I would need a megaphone. You could hear me from fucking the top of the bowl because my mouth is that loud. But TREP, where did this come from? Like,
all right. So
the organicness of it.
How did it all start was shit in 2016 going to 2017. So December going to January. I was working night shift in downtown LA at this job called Metropolis, which was the best job I ever, one of the best jobs I ever worked at. It was amazing, right? And because I barely got to learn how to do glazing, which is if you ever drive by like buildings, like big tall buildings, skyscrapers, they have glass on the outside. Well, those are units. They're like big 8 to 12 foot units that are fucking pretty much snap-on pieces.
Doesn't LA have the most photographed building in the world? Yeah, I've stayed at that hotel. It's a fucking nice hotel.
Yeah, so a couple of my buddies worked there. I know most of the guys that did those buildings. And so one night I was with my buddy Daniel, right? And we're working night shift, just bullshitting. I was like, man, bro, I want to do something fucking cool, man. Like, and then he was like, I don't know, just think about it. And then we kept on working. And then that day I ran out of work clothes, because my dumbass was too lazy to wash my clothes. And so I put on a nice shirt, which was like I forgot what shirt it was, but I love wearing that shirt. So I love wearing that shirt on the weekends, but I was like, fuck it, this is the only pair of shirt I got. So I threw it on, went to work. And at the time, I think we were like, I forgot what we were doing, moving material or some shit. And I ripped it like where my armpit was. And then I also like got it dirty, like where my stomach area was. And I looked at it, I was like, fuck, dude, this is some bullshit. And then my buddy Daniel looked at me and goes, why didn't you just wear like a work shirt or like a piece of shit shirt that you had at home? I was like, I don't know, this is the only nice shirt. This is the only shirt I had. It's a nice shirt. And then on the way home, I was like, fuck, how about if I just start my own t-shirt? Like if I just put my own t-shirt, like my own print on it. Okay, so what I want to do, I love streetwear. Most of my stuff that you see sometimes is derived from streetwear because that's the way I grew up, is skateboarding, graffiti, hip hop. That's my background when it comes to streetwear.
But it's the roots of you, and you can see it. You can see it in what you design, which is beautiful. Like it's badass.
So I love that sense because most of I love that essence of streetwear. So I thought I was gonna start a streetwear brand. Originally, I wanted to follow the footsteps of this is how much of a giving person I am. I wanted to follow the footsteps of Tom Shoes. Buy a pair, give a pair. Being back in my Asian roots on my Filipino side, I wanted to do something like that. So in the Asian culture, if there's a wedding, a birthday, Christmas, or any big occasion, we give out red envelopes. These little red envelopes we put money in. Doesn't matter about the amount. It's a matter of the gesture of saying, "Hey, I wish you good luck and fortune. Here you go, and prosperity." What I wanted to do was for every piece of clothing or a dollar amount that I get by the end of the month, I wanted to get an envelope, shove money in there, and give it to a family in need. Meaning, if there's a kid that has no shoes or no clothes for school, I'm gonna give them that red envelope and say, "Here you go." But doing the extensive research, it goes into a what is that thing called? A non-funded charity or something with the charity part. No, non-income. I forgot what the fuck it
I
was.
know. It's
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nonprofit.
so nonprofit. It goes under a nonprofit type of business, and it comes into so many legal shit, and people will talk shit to you like, "Hey, yeah, you actually took income from that." I'm like, God damn, you know what? I don't feel like explaining this shit to nobody, so I didn't do that route. But the original name was called the Red Envelope Project, TREP, the Red Envelope Project, which is I wanted to give red envelopes to people. After that, I said that scrap this is not going to work. And then I heard if you know Sly and the Family Stone, which was one of my favorite songs I used to play in my dad's shoe shine stand, was Everyday People. And I was like, fuck yeah, this shit reminds me as a kid driving through East LA and just fucking listening to music. And I was like, every day, the real. And I was like, that shit's real every day. And at first it was it was the real everyday people. That's how I created it because of that song. And I just pretty much mashed up everything together. And I said, what is something I can stay consistent on and still provide for the people that I want to provide it for? So it was work. So I created my first work shirt, which was a box logo. It says TREP on it. And still today, I still sell it. And one time I was on a job site, so many people bought that shit from me that at one point the general contractor asked certain people, do we have a new subcontract job site? And they're like, no, we have the same guys we've always been. So who the fuck is TREP? I see TREP everywhere. Who is TREP? And then they're like, oh, it's one of the riggers. It's his clothing brand. Goes, man, tell that motherfucker to come see me in my office. So then after that, I actually landed my first printing job. I printed about, I want to say 1,500 shirts for the job site for their topping out party. Once you finish a project, they want to hand out shirts and all sorts of barbecue and stuff like that. So that was my first printing job. So I actually made money off of that. And I was like, holy shit. And I just put that back in my business. But the real everyday
because people, let's not go over that. We'll stay where you're at though.
Yeah.
When you make money, you got to put it back in.
Yes.
You have to put it back in. It's okay to pay yourself. It's okay. You got to pay yourself too. But part of the consistency of being a good business owner is putting back into your funnel.
Yes.
You don't want to take loans out on everything.
Hell no. You want to bootstrap. Okay, if younger people are listening, a bootstrap meaning that you have money that you saved and you're just using that money that you saved. You're not taking loans out. You're not borrowing money from other people, which is not bad. But I'm just saying, if we make the money that we're making is enough for you to save at least 10%, and you want to venture off to do whatever the fuck you want to do, then that's called bootstrapping. You're taking your money that you saved and you're starting your business. Because I know for sure Splash did it, and that's the way I did it. And that's an old term, pretty much bootstrapping.
No, it's a term that people need to understand. Like I said, in my paint business, I've never been in debt. I told my wife I'd never go in debt.
Yeah.
And, I'd get a job and I'm like, I thought you made, $3,000 on the job. I did, but I need to go buy a ladder. I need to go buy, I didn't need to buy a sprayer. I've always had a company take care of me. Thank you, Graco, for that. But like, it's just the nature of the beast. Like you got to put that back in. Okay. So you have TREP. You started doing, I actually have one of the OG shirts. I wear it.
Sick.
The long sleeve orange.
Yeah.
And then you started coming up with catchphrases like the one on my hat. It says,
Make working class great again.
yeah, I had to read that backwards. Obviously, you're playing on a red hat, but it makes sense. You got
Yeah.
to make the working class. And you said this at the very beginning of the episode. This should have been a 2-part. We're already an hour and 15 minutes in. I
Shit.
love it. But blue collar people make the world go around.
Yeah.
Without us, like I'm dead serious. I'll fucking fight you to the death. If you think that your white collar job, no offense to white collars, my wife's upstairs, but like if you wouldn't have that building, you gotta have a plumber,
Nah, man. Nah.
you know what you said you are, an iron worker, the foundation,
You
the
don't have none of that shit.
drywaller.
It's been like this for, I'm not to cut you off, but it's been like this for generations and years. I mean, fucking years, bro. If you, I love history, and when you go back into it, the most fucked up times were the slavery times. I'm not talking about African American slavery. I'm talking about slavery as in general, like the
Period. Yeah.
Egyptians, Chinese building the railroad tracks, fucking even down to in Poland or even in Russia. There's slavery everywhere. But
Most cultures have enslaved their own society, and people like
exactly,
to fucking overlook it.
yeah,
Like,
don't fucking overlook it. Just
no, it happened.
broaden your
It's
horizon.
true.
Like, yeah, just don't go based off the generic box logo of fucking racism. Like, don't go there.
I love you, Charles, that you know that because a lot of people don't know that shit. Like,
No, dude, it's more to it. So what I'm trying to say is the reason why I say blue collar, now we're called blue collar. We're working class people.
do
Reason
you
why
know
we're
why? Do you know why they actually were called blue collar workers?
no, you know what? I am
And I'll
ashamed.
tell
I
you.
don't.
I'll tell you. In Iowa, a newspaper reporter was doing a story,
Uh-huh.
and was trying to tell the story about the workers building this new building. It was something for the state capitol. Like the reason of the building, I'm not sure was because it didn't say, but he referred in the article as the workers as blue collars. They all had blue collar denim shirts on.
Oh, sick. Okay, okay.
So the origin of blue collar, for those that don't know, I've actually been meaning to do this in an episode, so thank you.
Yeah.
But it's an article that came out in the newspaper like 1948. I could be wrong, but I'm 90%. I'll post on my Instagram and TikTok so you
Yeah.
guys can all see the article. But he refers to the worker, us, as blue collar. Then white collar, like salon, massage people, they're
Yeah.
pink collar because it's based on back in the day. Like I don't do the dress code thing now, but that's what it's there for.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, so we've got a term coined up. Working class, blue collar people, right? Back in the fucking days, in order to build the pyramids, the Eiffel Tower, let's see what other monumental shit. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Colosseums in Rome. What else? Fucking Mount Rushmore, the railroad tracks that go from fucking here to fucking Wazoo were all built off of slavery, right? Or off of people that actually off the sweats of, I don't want to say slavery, but off the sweats, the back sweat of people, the back, you know, back breaking jobs that no one else
Of their
would
own
do.
people,
Of
of
their
their
own
own people, or people that got into the country. I'm not just talking America either, off into the countries like in Russia. If you
Yeah.
were in Russia and you weren't Russian, they did enslave you there. But then also they enslaved their own to do the work. You know,
Yeah.
the Great Wall of China. If
Yes.
you could move, you fucking built the wall.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
it's interesting. But yeah,
Yeah.
so you build TREP and you're looking at it as, okay, I want to be the brand. You're seeing people like what it stands for, what it is. Your new mantra for the season, I'm going to call it a mantra. If that's wrong, I apologize.
That's fine.
Is no handouts. Let's see your shirt. It says it right there. No handouts, just work. When you came up with that, what is the thought? Because I know when you first told me over the phone, it was like, well, this is what I mean, and this is what you meant. But people can look at them like, well, does he mean this? Like, you're not talking about like I'm just going to hand out a free fucking shirt.
Yeah.
What you're saying is you're a worker.
Yeah.
Show the fuck up.
Yes.
Earn your coin.
Yeah.
That's your handout.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't Johnny who has the fucking dad who's the fucking crane leader.
Yeah.
You know.
The term it came up with is at the time shit. It would go back to, I was at the time my dad was sick, and he was telling me stories about how he came from Tulsa, Oklahoma to California. So he pretty much fucking crawled his way over here. But he was telling me about how different odd jobs he had to take in order to get over here. So then one day I was trying to create a new design, and I was like, fucking, he just kept on working, just working and just working. And he didn't really he didn't really sat there and just fucking beg for money. And I was like, oh, a handout, So then I kind of put two and two together. So I said, no handouts, just work. So the premise of no handout, just work, it's okay to ask for help. We talked about this. It's okay to ask for help. And like the same thing I'm about to say is that when I was an apprentice, I asked my journeyman for help a lot of times because I was misguided. I still didn't know the whole trade, and I didn't know all the tips and secrets. So I would ask these guys, hey, man, I'm stuck on this project. What do I do here? How do I cut this? How do I weld this? Or how do I even read the blueprints like this? And they're like, all right, look, check it out. This is how you do it, blah, 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 boom, boom. Do you do this calculation of whatever, 3.5 minus this, and there's your number, and you got to cut it. Now, I'm going to put an emphasis on you got to cut it. I didn't say they cut it for me. You got to cut it. So they helped me out. But in the end, I put in the work. I got the results because pretty much I still had to put in the work. A no handout thing means that you're not sitting at home collecting government checks because you're too lazy.
Fuck you all that are doing that.
Or you're fucking, actually, a lot of people, believe this shit or not, a couple of years, I would say 5-6 years ago, my daughter's 7 years ago in Portland, there's people that are panhandling outside of a condominium home. These motherfuckers lived in that fucking home, but they stay outside pretending they're fucking poor and asking for money. That's the number one thing too. If you're good and able and your fucking mind is working, why the fuck not can you not create a way to make something of yourself instead of relying on your parents, your trust fund, if you have one, or somebody else's fucking hard work? Why the fuck are you going to rely on them? That's what I mean by no
I think right now, just what I'm seeing, I think you're seeing a lot of people who have that, so to speak, silver spoon, really branch away from it. I heard this. I got into this sports conference. I was listening to a talk show last night, and they were talking about LeBron James' son, Bronny.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, him as a basketball player.
Yeah.
And, we all know who LeBron James is. We know what he's done. We know what the accolades are going to be when he leaves the NBA. One of the greatest all time to ever lace up a pair of high top shoes. And then you have his son. And his son right now, based off an NIL, his personal who he is making fucking bank. But every analyst the last year I've heard say the same thing about Bronny. He'll never be a great NBA player.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, like, how hard on him? Like Shaq has a kid, Michael has a kid, Kobe's daughters, all these players that have kids, like, there's father-son duos. The only one that I can really think of that was like T for T was Ken Griffey Jr. and his dad.
Yeah.
But like getting to the no handouts, these kids aren't getting handouts.
No.
I know we think that Bronny's like that, but that fucking kid can dunk. He can shoot. He has his own personality.
Yeah.
He ain't riding his dad's coattails.
No.
Shaquille O'Neal, I love that dude. He talks all the time like, this is my money. He tells his kids, like, this ain't fucking your money. Go get your degree. Not just a degree. Get your master's. Like, that's big on him. That's how he was raised back east. But it's like, you're seeing these athletes now who are our age or probably a little older than us, I'll say. At least for me, they're a little older because they're, they're finally retiring, but they have kids now that are playing. And they're all saying, like, listen, I didn't give these handouts. I didn't fucking call USC. I didn't call the Ohio State University Buckeyes. Like, hey, take my son. No. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s son, he's fucking skilled. One of the best receivers in college football because he put the work in. And that's it. I don't mean to like go to die hard into sports, but like for me, it's a great way to analogize it is like, listen, ask. And you said it perfectly. It's okay to ask how to do a job.
Yeah.
We all start somewhere. That goes back to me saying, listen, I don't know how to be a hospital administrator. I don't want to do the job anymore, but I was asking for help and no one did it. I think the mindset there was like, well, you want me to hand this job to you? No, I want you to say, listen, I'm going to take a chance on you.
Yeah.
And you're going to ask me a bunch of questions. I'm going to tell you, but then you're going to do. It's the one thing. Like my wife is she's very up high, and I know I talked about her a lot in this episode,
Yeah.
but I love my wife. She's a very good human being. One thing that makes her stand out in the world of being a worker is she doesn't tell her people that she manages. She doesn't do the job for them. She says, "Hey, this is what you need to do," and then she sends them on her way. It's a conversation we have a lot, and I keep telling like, don't do the work. If you do the work for them, it's like our kids. If I do the work for you, like if I do your paper,
Yeah.
I didn't do you any service. Like I get you need help, but it's just that. Don't stand out with your hand out. If you're viable and able, now I'm not saying, I know there's people out there that, I mean, as a little child, I panhandled with my parents. So it's a little bit different. I see it probably a little different, but 2-year-old
I get
Splash.
what you're saying. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
But there's some people that their home is where their heart is, and wherever they lay their head at night, that's fine. That we're not talking about you. What we are talking about though is you guys and gals that are out there collecting money, knowing damn well you could go work, or you are working, collecting money, and just trying to get paid under the table. Like, come on. And it goes back to what you're saying, like these old timers, like, I don't know why I drink every night. Listen, you have to see the value in you. And I think that's what we see a lot in this blue collar trade right now is, and thankful, I know social media gets a lot of bullshit about bullshit that's on there, but with blue collar men and women, I'll speak very highly of this because it's me and I see my friends that I talk to on social media and behind social media. Like, put your shit out there and take pride. It's not an ego. Listen to what I just said. It's not an ego when you say you're the best and you wake up every day and you try to be better than what you were yesterday. It means you have a fucking drive.
Yeah.
So fuck you guys like, oh, you have an ego. Like, yeah, I fucking do. You're damn right. There was a 3-year period of time that I was painting houses. I'll tell you damn well right now, Charles, there was no one on this planet that sprayed a house better than I did. Nobody. You could have put 5 hooligans with me or 5 professionals, and that house would have been one of the best houses you've ever seen fucking painted because I had pride and work ethic. I wasn't going to hand out, but it took hours. So those of you to will it back to like that mental health, like if you're wondering, like, why am I doing this? Ask yourself that. Why are you doing it? If you're good at it, like I'm not a biker, but like I see these guys that like are bike enthusiasts that build their own bikes. Like, dude, my bike's the best. Like, fucking love it. I love when I hear someone say, I'm the best at what I do.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you're in the same trade or you want to skip trades to go to that trade, go be the fucking best.
Yeah, that's pretty
Do
much
not expect that handout to come to you. Ask the
man.
questions and listen and ask again. It's okay to ask again. It really is. And I tell my kids that all the time. Like, hey, I don't know your math homework. I had a teacher tell me a long time ago, you're not going to have a calculator on the job site. Fuck you. Because I do now. So that does my math. But like, their math is just dumb. Like it's, no offense to teachers, but it's like stupid math that doesn't matter. But my son right now is in this weird geometry class. I'm like, look, you need to know that blue collar work. You got to know your geometry. It's just one of those things. Pay attention. Pi to the second square. You probably don't need that shit because you're not a scientist. But I love it. I love the no handouts. Just work. It makes 100% sense. Where can people buy your swag? You got how many shirts? I think you got 4 shirts or 5 different logos right now.
I got a shit ton of different designs. I'm coming out with some new ones. That hasn't dropped yet. But if you want to check it out, it's at trepwear.com, trepwear.com. That's where you can check out all the working class merch and whatever.
You have hats?
I have hats.
You have a fucking badass jacket.
I have a badass jacket that I just dropped last month, before.
That's new.
Christmas, yeah. I got windbreakers, which is 100% waterproof. So pretty much, actually, I want to say, yes, I would say 100% waterproof. The only thing that is the zipper part in the middle. It can get wet because obviously it's material. But other than that, everything else is pretty much waterproof. I got joggers. I got also sweatpants that I need updating. That I'm gonna update to some new designs.
Yeah, I may have missed that on your website.
Yeah,
you got a lot of shit. You got a lot. Yeah. You have some dope ass hats. I love that.
I do. Thank you.
Love that.
Hats. Work clothes, pretty much I have deals of 6 packs, 3 packs of work shirts to last you from 6 days a week to 3 days a week. Or
You know what's great about your work pack, the 6-pack of shirts is if you're busy and anyone that's blue collar has had the situation. How many times has it been like Thursday or Friday night and it's like 5:30 and the wife texts you, "Oh my God, we have Susie's ballet tonight.
yeah.
Fuck, we have ... basketball game." And you're like, "Baby, I got to run home. I got to do this." No, listen, y'all don't need to do that. Buy some TREP clothes. Keep one of those nice shirts in your work truck, in your Milwaukee pack out or your flex pack out, whichever you have. That way, when you get that phone call, like, "Baby, I'll be there." "Well, don't you need to stop home?" "No, I got to change the clothes."
Yeah.
You know, it's like that Iron. He's a minor in Kentucky or Kansas. I'm not sure. John Calipari, the coach, whatever school he coaches. My mind's slipping right now, but he showed up to the game like fucking head to toe in coal, and we need to send that guy a TREP shirt. But at the end of the day, it's like rep it because your TREP shirts, your clothing line is workwear, and it's out of the house wear.
Yeah.
It's casual wear. It's going to your local softball game, going to the local watering hole if that's your gig, going to the park, playing your ukulele, whatever the fuck it is that you do.
Whatever you want to do. It's just I got workwear, streetwear, both of it kind of mixed up together because that's what I love the most. I love mixing stuff up. I mean, I'm not gonna get it wrong where like there's other brands out there. Okay, so there's other brands out there just almost similar to what I am, if not the same. There's other brands I look up to that are outside the blue collar space that I look for inspiration to. Everything else I've seen, everyone just, another fucking thing I hate the most, I'm just gonna fucking say it, is people ripping people off. Like when I started this no handout, just work shit, another fucking brand took it and made it their own, but created the same slogan: no handouts, just work. There's another guy who fucking did
I
it.
actually think I know who the company is. We can talk off screen to who it is. I think I know who it is.
Yeah, and they fucking, you know what I mean? And there's another fucking clothing brand that kind of did the same shit. And I'm not gonna say I'm the first one who coined the term "no handouts, just work," but I'm just gonna say if you can't fucking create something to be original for your own piece of business and your own clothing brand, go fuck yourself. You shouldn't be in business, because if you're just gonna continually just rip off people, you're not gonna get very far. And I'm not gonna say I put 1,000 hours into this design. It's really simple, But at the same time, another thing behind this design, if you look at Nike, right, you see they're just do it. Like just do it. This is their fucking biggest slogan ever. It's almost the same fucking thing, right? Just no handouts, just work.
Yeah.
Pretty much is. I love the philosophy of Nike of just do it. Just go and just do it, And then for the real everyday people is no handouts, just work. Just fucking work for what you got. Just work for what you want. Don't sit there and cry like a little fucking baby and say, "Oh, I didn't get it." Fuck that shit, man. Nothing in life comes for free, man. So
You earn the shit that you get. You
Yeah.
don't just get it. And even those people, like I in the painting world, and this in the ironworking world, we talk shit to each other all the time. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times someone slipped in my DMs, and not the right kind of slip. Like, bro, that fucking looks horrible.
Yeah.
I'll take it, dude. Fucking, challenge me. But at the end of the, you talk shit about my blue collar family, I got a problem. And it just goes with ethics, like I said, I think I know I don't want to name them if I'm wrong. And if I'm right, I don't want to name them either, because I know who they are.
Yeah.
They're trying to push their merch out. But you know what? It's a testimony because you're doing something right.
Yeah.
But, you and I are going to be working close together.
Yes.
You are, can I say it?
Go ahead, man.
We're good. So
by all means,
TREP is now the official Blue Collar Tribe podcast
clothing
brand. So
yes,
it's going to be some fun. We have some fun shit we got to do. Even shit you probably thought about and I thought about and haven't had a chance to fucking talk about it.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good fun time, man. I feel it's crazy, dude, because doing this brand for such a long time, it's like I've always dreamed of like teaming up with somebody, linking up with somebody, and just pretty much just building not just this brand but just building whatever else they're working on too.
Building a community. And that's what this is. It's a fucking community of blue collar people. Like, I know we got sensitive earlier and I don't want to bring it back to that sensitivity. I mean, I will, but ultimately when I built this brand of blue collar tribe, like I went from no bullshit blue collar, which I still own the rights to, everybody. Wink, wink. That's still me. I own that. To that full out there. Someone stole my website. I know who you are, motherfucker. I know who you are. And I know the day that you're not going to re-up that website. Like, I know it's coming around the corner. Anyways, I actually love the dude because he was smart, but whatever. But when I built the brand, it's a community.
Yeah.
So Blue Collar Tribe podcast, the Blue Collar World. I got a lot of cool shit coming up. I got my social media course coming out for you creators, for you contractors. I'm going to teach you all the things. I thought about this today, Charles, and it was a really interesting thought that I was having because I had some workers here working.
Yeah.
And I don't like to pat myself on the back a lot. I'm really not that person. I have an ego about certain things. This is one of those things I don't, but it's really, I got that memory of something that said back to me 8 years ago. It was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I have been a social media influencer, ambassador for tools for 8 years now.
Damn.
And I like had this like aha moment, like, am I an OG? Like I literally asked myself that, like running today. I'm like, I don't want to give myself that title, but am I an OG? And I was like, God damn, Splash, like you're fucking doing it. And yes, I do. For those that ask that question, when I'm in blue collar mode, I am Splash. Like when I'm outside of work and that my friends call me my real name, I don't refer to my name on the podcast. Like, fuck you if you think any different. You know, my name's not hard to find, but it's a mindset, you know. But the collaboration with TREP and Blue Collar Tribe, I know we've talked about it before. It seems like the right time for us. Your clothing line is a foundation part of what this tribe is about, of being true to yourself, working your fucking ass off. And the clothing line is just going to show that even more and magnify it. Because you're saying to everyone else around you, I don't care what you do, but what I do values me because I know who I am. And I'm badass blue collar. I take no handouts. I give a lot of shit and I'm prideful in what I do.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. Like I don't have too much egos, like you said. I think the only ego that I really truly have, and actually, I would say I'm very prideful in, is like I love this term and I live by it. Is jack of all trades, a master of none. I wish I could remember the rest of the fucking thing because a lot of people don't know that there's more to that whole quotation. But I've done almost, not, I don't want to say everything, but I'm able to work with my hands so much that I can fix a car, I can do your oil change, I can change your tire, I can legit change your tire at a tire shop. I can sort of paint, you know, I can do handyman shit around the house, a little bit of electrician work, welding, I can freaking almost connect the building, I can rig stuff. These are the things that I'm prideful of, and this is what brings me back to like knowing that this is me, a blue collar dude. So if you put me, I always think about these intense situations like, oh man, the train, like I'm on a train and the train snaps and all we have is like some chains, some ropes, and fucking, you know, some cones and shit. Like, you know, it's just magically there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, does anyone here know how to just hold this shit together until the rescue comes? And everyone's panicking. Oh shit, I don't know how to do it. Oh fuck. And I just come out of the fucking ashes. I fucking do. And I just get up out of my seat and I just do this sick ass fucking bowling knot or a fucking square knot. And then after that, I grab the fucking chain. I fucking wrap it around that shit and I just fucking hold it together. Find a fucking tube, fucking stick it into the ground. Be like, all right, we're safe for now, but it ain't gonna hold that long. And then the rescue comes and be like, how did you guys know that? How did you know that? Well, I'm a blue collar motherfucker. That's why, bitch. You know, like shit like that. You know, it's just.
Are you wearing? Do you have a cape on, or is there like some like
I'm just fucking just
iron
here? Like I'm just fucking just getting in there and just fucking doing it, and all the girls are like, "Oh my god, thank God he's doing it!" And then the fucking dude was just standing there with a fucking college degree, like, "Fuck, I didn't learn that. That wasn't in my textbook." That's right, bitch. It's called life skills. And then you just continue working this shit. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of fucked up because, you know, in that other sense of like white collar and blue collar, you're always going to have a boss, right? And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's always that dickhead that went to college, thinks that he knows more than you because he learned it in a book, in a classroom. But in reality, we learn more in the field and we're able to work more closely with the problems that happen in the field versus to him behind a desk. The only problem that I see a disadvantage with in the blue collar society is the lack of education. The lack of education of either how to run your own business, the lack of education um, of um, of knowing how to pretty much transition from working in the field to working in the office, and then being able to have that two balance. Because once you have that two balance, you're fucking you're pretty much golden, and you're able to understand the office life and the field life, and that's when you have a really successful job site that runs really smoothly. I only met probably like 4 people in my whole career that can actually juggle both. And to be honest with you, I have not heard any bitching. I didn't hear any fights amongst any trades. It was a smooth ass fucking job. But that's something that I think that we all need to learn is, besides working with your hands, how can you work with your mind a lot more? What can you use your brain for besides thinking of a solution to fix the project? You need to, I believe that we need to have a little bit more of a course of whatever trade we're in, or whatever, you know, we're in as blue collars. We need to learn more how to take the office job away from the white collar motherfuckers that go to college and think they know more than us. Because in reality, we do know more than them. But the fucked up is, do we know how to use an iPad? Really? Do we really know how to use it? How to look up blueprints? How to look up RFIs, which is called request for information in the construction industry, and shit like that. Do we know how to do that? If we don't, what courses can we take to learn how to do that? And then that's one more leg up. I'm not having anything against white collar folks in the office. I'm just saying that some of them feel that they're way above us, like all godly. And in reality, we can run circles around them. But how can we do it without the proper tools? That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's different. I want to touch base. Someone, that quote you said, "Master of none." Someone commented on.
Sick,
I don't
dude.
know
He
if this
knows the
is.
whole thing.
I think that's what it is. The rest of that quote is, "But oftentimes better than master of one." Which
Yes.
ultimately the root of that whole thing is a mass. Say it again. Say the full thing. Now that you know what it is, say it again.
Jack of all trades, a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
Yeah,
Son.
that's it. And the reason that is because like you just know more. And it's like back in my day, I'm 43. I was born in
Yeah.
79, graduated in 98. My time frame of growth was be a lawyer,
Yes.
go to financials. My dad was blue collar, and I've said this before. Like I actually recently I actually talked to my dad about this, and I told him, I said, "Hey, I love you. I'm not mad, but you should have never told me not to be blue collar." But when I sat back with him and we had a conversation as a father and son do, he says to me, he's like, "You wouldn't have learned the skills on how to have passion."
Yeah.
And that fucking hit me like, wow, like I don't agree with how you did it, but like, fuck. Okay, I get it now. And like we're parents, we have young kids now, and like it's like my kids, like I'm trying to give that balance to them. But
Yeah.
with the like doctors, that was a big thing. But like right now, I think to ramp up with what you're saying is like I'm not shitting on white collar, pink collar, or anything. But what I'm saying
Yeah.
is simply this: is as the tribe of blue collar people, we do make the world go round.
Yes.
Take more pride in what you do, and for the love of God, especially you fishermen and painters, I'm going to call you both out. So I'm in a fishing tournament this week, and everyone's like, what? Don't give away your secret. Don't." And I posted some pictures of the fish we caught at the lake, and someone DM like, "Dude, don't. Why are you showing pictures of the fish you caught?" Listen, I can take you fishing. I can tell you what lure I used. It doesn't mean you're gonna fucking catch the damn fish.
Fuck yeah.
There is skill. Painters, welders, framers, all of y'all, especially you old timers, start sharing your skills. Start sharing your secrets. If you believe in your heart of hearts that you being blue collar, that you're one of the baddest men and women that walk this planet, and you made a fucking dent because you built a building and you drove your grandson by it or your granddaughter and said, look, I did this in the building, something I've done. I know something you've probably done with your kids. Like I did this, whether they get it or not, we've done it all. Listen, if you want this to continue to be great, stop holding your secrets. They're not fucking secrets. It's a skill that you learned. You have to pass it on. And if you don't pass it on, I'll leave it to like this. And I know we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I love Michael Jordan. I'm going to give some hate, and I love the DM, so do it. I saw Magic, Larry. I saw all of them play. That's how old I am. Kobe Bryant is the best, purest basketball player I've ever seen play the game.
Yeah.
In my mind, he's better than Michael Jordan, just me personally. But Michael told him what he was doing. Yeah. Kobe Bryant had to implement those skills off what he was shown and told. Hence, I'm going to be in the gym 3 times a day to your 2. So in a matter of a week, I've worked out on my shot 7 more times than what you did to perfect that. Kobe Bryant taught his kids. Luka Doncic right now, I think it was Luka. I could be wrong with this. Kobe Bryant taught him, said, hey, this is what it takes. Now look at him, reigning 2-time defending MVP, I think it is.
Yeah.
But they're passing that on. They're not saying, oh, no, it's my fucking secret. No, if you know how to beat a line, if that's what welders do, apologize. Yeah. Like if that's what it is and there's a certain method to get the perfect bead for a weld on a truck, tell people, show them.
That's the only fucking way, bro.
To back to your no handouts. That's not a fucking handout. You're just showing them.
Yeah.
They're either going to have the fucking skill, the personality, the mentality to do it, or they're not.
Yeah.
And that is, at the end of the day, being blue collar, looking and saying, look, I'm going to lace up my boots the same way we all do. I'm going to eat a fucking taco different, but I'm going to shit the same way that you do. But at the end of the day,
yeah,
it's up to me on how much work I'm going to put in.
Pretty fucking much. I mean,
one of the best painters, and I know he listens. He's an old employee of mine, and I know he listens to podcasts sometimes. And he left my job site on bad terms. But I'm going to say this, and I'll never say his name, but he knows who he is. One of the best fucking painters I've ever seen in my entire life. Better than me. Has no drive.
Yeah.
0 drive. And he asks every time he'd come back, every 3 months, he didn't have money. He needed work. Paid him $35 an hour because I knew what he was worth. I'd even pay him $50 an hour. I told him one time, listen, I'll pay you $50 an hour, but you got to show up.
Yeah.
You can't leave me hanging for 2 weeks.
Yeah. See
that? And finally, last time I told him, I says, you're fucking lazy. You're one of the best painters. I've learned so much from you as a business owner, learning from his employee, but you have 0 drive.
Yeah.
To harness your skills. And in my mind, that's just a waste of talent.
Yep, I was about to say that. That's a waste of talent. And
because what he wanted the handout. He wanted the paycheck handed to him, knowing how mindfully he was good, but he didn't know how to put the nail to the hammer. Is that what the saying is? I think so. The iron to the clad, some shit like that.
The hammer to the nail.
I fucking don't know.
The hammer to the nail. I think it's the hammer to the nail.
I thought it was the nail to the hammer.
The nail and the hammer. I don't know.
One
way or another. One way or another, it's the same.
Well, one last thing about TREP and Blue Collar Tribe. You may see us on the road. I know I've talked to you about this a little bit, but I have some really cool things we're going to be doing. We may pop on a job site to say hello to you all. So I'm in Utah, you're in California, Vegas, Nevada, Idaho. We're not far from a lot of places. We'll head back east. I got some cool shit planned that we're going to be doing with the podcast and the social media. But it's been an honor, Charles.
Thank you.
You're fucking always welcomed on the podcast. This is one for my record book. I will say this now before I even get out. This is an episode that I'm always going to remember. And
likewise,
brother. The collaboration is going to be awesome. We have some cool stuff. Tell everyone where they can get the merch out again.
You can go on to trepwear.com, which is TREPWEAR.com.
And rep those. And guys, listen, gals, when you buy the clothing wear, fucking tag him in it. Let everybody know that you're the real everyday people, that you're that badass, that you don't take handouts, but you work your fucking ass off, and everything that's in your house, your garage, your wife, your kids, your husband, whatever orientation you are, that you work hard and that you're fucking badass.
That's it, man. You just got to show up and show out. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll catch you on the other side. Let's leave you with some music to jam out to.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.